This episode brought to you by the unequivocal devotion to the delivery of high-quality internet content related to the widely spectacular and definitively esports-ready game known as PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
This is Hot Drop, where we bring you premier PUBG analysis and the most delayed of drops. I'm Dano.
I'm Cody.
And I'm John.
In today's episode, we break down what's been happening with us, the state of the Hot Drop, and we take a dive into a new venture. Let's get into it.
My fellow Hot Droppers, over the last 2 years and 93 episodes, we, the Hot Droppers in Chief, have tried to provide you with a weekly dose of bad jokes, angelic songs, great points, and we sprinkled in some PUBG content as well. This has truly been one of the most satisfying endeavors that I've ever taken on. It helped Dan and I do something that we've talked about achieving since high school. It gave me a new lifelong acquaintance in John, and provided him with a solid background story to tell the cops when they finally suspect him of being a murderer. Outside of that, we have reached out across the interwebs and shared personal stories with over 1,000 people each week. This is incredible to us, that you would want to hear us, send in your feedback, meet us in bars, or have us in your homes. KK even still shows up, even though our official stance is that he fornicate with himself. Fuck you, KK. With that said, we feel as though we haven't been able to put out the high-end quality of a weekly show that we're comfortable with each week. Some of that is scheduling, some of it is time constraints and murder appointments. But mostly, PUBG isn't pushing content the way it used to, and we felt as though the topic had been covered when it hit the other platforms weeks later. But that doesn't mean we're done. We tried to launch Saison 4, and we couldn't figure out why it didn't feel right until now. A variety show isn't what Hot Drop is. Hot Drop is the premier PUBG podcast bringing you drops that vary in temperature each week. Things I find dumb as hell, and John's great points. What was that?
Something needs some oil, right?
So now we focus on how to move forward. We don't want to stop the show, and we definitely don't want to abandon all of you. So after 4 weeks and a lot of inquiries, we have a new plan. We're going to pull a Dallas and pretend Saison 4 was all a dream. Tom may be the only one that gets that reference. We're going to keep those shows on the YouTube page for your listening pleasure, and we're going to remove them from your podcast distributor. Pretend it just didn't happen. In the future, the three of us will release Hot Drop episodes when we feel there is enough for all of us to provide you with a well-thought-out show with all of your favorite segments and original soundtrack. We'll continue to stream Mondays and Thursdays at 8-ish p.m. Eastern and commit heavily to the procrastination in the Discord, link in show notes. We may not be the weekly premier PUBG podcast, but we're still the premier PUBG podcast in our hearts. In the meantime, Dan and I are excited to bring you something new. We'd like to think that we're smart, funny, handsome, and charming people. One of us has a sultry, smooth radio voice, and the other makes up songs and gets thirsted on the reg. In our spare time, we're often discussing weird topics that we find when we bing or ask Jeeves random thoughts. So why not share those tidbits with all of you? Well, we will. We're going to bring you a new weekly podcast. Dive, a Hot Drop podcast. This will launch its inaugural episode on Monday, September 2nd. Leap, skip, or hop on into the weird waters of the internet with us. We'll be talking about customer service hotline numbers, why the 1920s were super fucked up, historic figures and why we don't remember them, and maybe even some Maple Estate exploration. There's so much more to talk about with you all, and we can't wait for you to join us on this next trip. Dive, a Hot Drop podcast, Monday, September 2nd. Let's get into it.
Are you ready for now that's something that could be mistaken for music? The definitive esports ready soundtrack featuring Lord Beardface, the songbird of our generation.
There is a team here, there is a team here, there is a team with us. They want to shoot us, but we will shoot them.
This 2-CD set is home to the official PUBG theme song.
We're singing a song, playing with friends, and we're doing stuff until the very end. And then we're gonna shoot other people virtually, because that's the game, it's called PUBG.
Move in a new dimension with some of the year's biggest songs.
When you find me in the club, bottles full of bub, my mind got what you need if you into something. I'm in the having sex and in the making love, so come give me a hug.
Chart toppers from Ozzy Osbourne.
That's Ozzy.
Styx and Kesha.
Away. Hands going down. He's yelling timber.
Oh shit. And who could forget Sean Mullins?
Everything's gonna be alright. Like a white. Like a white. Like a white. I'm pretending to play piano while I'm doing that. I don't know if you got that out of the inflection.
Timeless classics from Steely Dan.
There's a stream and no one can see, because Dan is making popcorn. I told him I wouldn't sing, so fuck you, Dan. Oh, you had to make popcorn. You can go to hell.
When you order now, that's something that could be mistaken for Music Volume 1. With your credit card or by check, you'll receive this limited edition Lord Beardface Platinum Original.
Oh, my friend named Daniel, he left me to die alone. He never listens now, he is far from my home. I don't want to die, but he makes me cry. Oh, Daniel, leave me all alone.
And a special live performance of Lord Beardface singing and playing his own instruments at the same time.
One person went to there, we probably could.
And the lightning strikes, pow, pow, pow. Another love grows cold on the sleepless night as the storm rolls on out of control. Pow, pow.
Oh boy, this is bad. We're good. Just
Call 1-800-GET-GOOD. That's 1-800-GET-GOOD to get Now That's Something That Could Be Mistaken for Music Volume 1 for $12.99 on 2 CDs or 2 cassettes plus $3.99 shipping and handling. Now That's Something That Could Be Mistaken for Music. The definitive esports ready soundtrack.